I'm just brunette because of the books.
Everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway.
Well, I met Blake. I worked with her husband Ryan several years ago, so I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
Yeah. We got the body language experts analyzing this right now. How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them.
You got a few of them.
Come on, it was a joke.
Blake Lively's castmates have officially dropped the act, and the way they're airing things out, it's bad news for her. First, Colleen Hoover made a surprising pivot, and now Brendan Sklenar and Isabella Ferrer are keeping their distance like they don't want to be associated with whatever mess is unraveling. The way this is going, it looks like they're realizing they bet on the wrong horse. And let's be real, Blake's Golden Girl reputation...
Now the interview from Blake Lively's past that's come back to haunt her. She and her co-star Parker Posey are being accused of being so difficult that the reporter says she almost changed careers. Now Lisa Guerrero is speaking with that reporter who was at the receiving end of the actresses who are now being called mean girls.
Talk about awkward.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
It made me want to quit my job. I felt really horrible afterwards.
Completely shattered. The carefully curated image she spent years building? Gone. So, let's break it down. First up, let's talk about Brandon Sklenar, the guy playing Atlas in the movie, the childhood sweetheart of Blake's character Lily. Now, Brandon's been off doing his thing, promoting 1923 and living his best life. When suddenly, the question everyone wanted answered landed right in his lap. What's his take on the whole Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni scandal?
Blake Lively's It Ends With Us co-star Brandon Sklenar breaks his silence on her allegations against Justin Baldoni. The actor is weighing in after Blake filed a legal complaint against Justin, accusing him of engaging in sexually inappropriate behavior on the set of the film.
And who? The way he ducked and dodged that question? That was Olympic-level evasion. He did everything except give a straight answer. Instead, he hit us with the classic PR-safe fluff, I just want people to remember why we made the movie, and a whole lot of blah blah blah. But here's the thing. When someone avoids a question that hard, they know something, and they don't want to get caught up in the fallout. And let's be real. Hasn't this been Justin Baldoni's entire playbook since he snatched up the rights to the book? Even at the movie premiere, when the rest of the cast, Brandon included, were dressed in florals and putting on a united front for Blake instead of focusing on what the movie was actually about, Justin's vision. So now, Brandon's just flipping Justin's words, acting like he's saying something new, when in reality, it's the same old PR script Justin has been running with since day one. This movie was meant to make an impact, especially for those who have lived through DV. It was supposed to be a story that mattered, that resonated with survivors. But somewhere along the way, that message got completely lost.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
We have a few more characters already in the beginning of the first season that come in and mess up our lives even more. We start in the Hamptons, which is a staple of New York socialites that you haven't yet seen. And you know, we all kind of dated each other, so we have to date more people or each other's parents. And
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
And who? The way he ducked and dodged that question? That was Olympic-level evasion. He did everything except give a straight answer. Instead, he hit us with the classic PR-safe fluff, I just want people to remember why we made the movie, and a whole lot of blah blah blah. But here's the thing. When someone avoids a question that hard, they know something, and they don't want to get caught up in the fallout. And let's be real. Hasn't this been Justin Baldoni's entire playbook since he snatched up the rights to the book? Even at the movie premiere, when the rest of the cast, Brandon included, were dressed in florals and putting on a united front for Blake instead of focusing on what the movie was actually about, Justin's vision. So now, Brandon's just flipping Justin's words, acting like he's saying something new, when in reality, it's the same old PR script Justin has been running with since day one. This movie was meant to make an impact, especially for those who have lived through DV. It was supposed to be a story that mattered, that resonated with survivors. But somewhere along the way, that message got completely lost. Instead of standing by the film's actual purpose, the cast got swept up in the chaos, picking sides, fueling drama, and, let's be real, helping Blake push her overpriced, ineffective shampoo like that was the real priority. And now that the damage is done and the backlash is hitting hard, suddenly the cast remembers the movie's true purpose? Oh, now they want to act like they care? The timing is too convenient. Thankfully, Gail King wasn't here for the fluff. She went straight for the truth and didn't sugarcoat a thing. When the big question came up, was he Team Blake or Team Justin? Brandon had to make a choice. And his answer? Oh, it spoke volumes. He said it loud and clear. I am Team It Ends With Us. That right there? That's the biggest sign that the entire cast has jumped ship. They might not be outright saying, yeah, we're with Justin now, but they are playing the neutrality card hard, which, let's be real, is what they should have done from the start. But if you don't see just how huge of a shift this is, let's rewind for a second, because this is where things get real interesting. Back in December 2024, Brandon wasn't just supporting Blake. He was all in. He was riding for her, standing 10 toes down. He even reposted her legal complaint against Justin on Instagram, added a heart emoji, and basically told everyone to believe Blake no matter what. He was loud, he was proud, and he made sure everyone knew where he stood. And now? Crickets. No more public defenses. No more over-the-top support. The same guy who was all about Blake a few months ago is suddenly dodging questions and acting neutral. And people want answers, because this kind of switch-up doesn't just happen for no reason.
Are you Team Blake or Team Justin? He said, I don't speak English, Gail.
Team It Ends With Us. It's unfortunate that things get taken away from what the ethos of that thing is, and it gets convoluted, and I just want to remind people of why that thing exists in the first place.
Heartless.
Lily Bloom.
It Ends With Us actor Brandon Sklenar was one of Blake Lively's loudest supporters when she accused their co-star and director, Justin Baldoni, of SA and assault. He didn't hesitate. He jumped right into the fire with her. On Instagram, he posted Lively's legal complaint against Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios, adding a heart emoji and tagging her with a caption that practically begged people to take her side. But here's the thing about Hollywood, it switches up fast. At first, it seemed like everyone was backing Blake. She was the bigger name, the bigger star, and when she came out swinging with these accusations, it looked like an easy decision for her co-stars and the industry at large. But now, the tide has turned dramatically. People started paying attention to the actual facts instead of just taking her word for it. They realized that just because someone's a beloved actress doesn't automatically make them the one telling the truth. And as more evidence surfaces, even Blake's own castmates are second-guessing whether they were too quick to pick sides. And that brings us right back to Brandon Sklenar, the man who once threw heart emojis and unwavering support Blake's way. Yeah, he's not doing that anymore. Now, let's talk about this whole neutral act. Because, let's be real, Hollywood's version of neutrality is just a polite way of saying, I'm waiting to see who wins before I commit to a side. No one wants to back the wrong person when the stakes are this high. Brandon and the rest of the cast have definitely seen Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. And instead of blindly backing Blake like before, they're playing it safe, treading very carefully because no one wants to mess up their career over someone else's legal war. But here's where it gets really messy. Brandon's initial stance was loud and clear. He was Team Blake, no questions asked. And now? This half-hearted switch-up isn't going unnoticed. People remember where he stood when it mattered most, And a 50% backtrack just isn't gonna cut it. Either he sticks to his original position, or he fully distances himself. But this halfway act? It's only making things look worse. Once you take a stance in the court of public opinion, there's no turning back. Like it or not, Brandon Sklenar's name is now tied to this mess, and people will not let him forget it. The internet never forgets, and the question that'll follow him forever is simple. Why did he actively participate in trying to take down an innocent man? But here's where it gets even juicier. Brandon isn't the only one suddenly changing their tune. Isabella Ferrer, who plays young Lily in the movie, has also gone radio silent. She was right there, following Blake's lead, standing in full support. But now, she's nowhere to be found waving the Blake Lively flag anymore. And let's be honest, we already know how this plays out. When people start quietly backing away from someone, it usually means they know something the public doesn't. Isabella Ferrer has been a key figure in this scandal, with her name appearing in both Blake and Justin's lawsuits. And the details? Oh, they are messy. Baldoni's lawsuit exposed some telling receipts, screenshotted texts allegedly from Ferrer herself. In one, she thanked Baldoni for an incredible experience on her first feature film. She even wrote, "You are such a wonderful, smart, and sincere director, and you created such a comfortable, safe space for me to feel like I could fully step into this role. I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment. It will stay with me for the rest of my life." So what changed? According to Baldoni's lawsuit, Ferrer worked with him without Blake's presence on set. Everything was fine, until after she spent substantial time with Blake during the film's promotions. That's when she suddenly decided to shun Baldoni. And let's not forget something very telling, an interview Ferrer gave on the very day of the It Ends With Us premiere. She was gushing about how lucky she was just to be in Blake's presence. And her outfit? Head to toe, Blake Lively approved. Floral dress, bracelets, shoes, all from Blake.
You've got two nice. Really quick, It Ends With Us. We're so excited. What can you tell us?
This is Atlas and Lily, that's what I'll tell you. Yeah, so the movie comes out in 3 weeks and it's actually...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, working in
Everyone
digital.
wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would. I love Jesse's suits.
The boots were mine. There's these great Louboutins that are also a close-up on them when we're dancing in the bar. Those are mine. I have a few of my husband's shirts and socks randomly in the movie. I have some of Gigi Hadid's sweaters in the movie.
The chemistry with Justin also was off the charts. I mean, really, truly,
really important. You're supposed to, tell a story well and make people feel, but you're also supposed to do it in a way that.
This is your night, mister.
No, this isn't my night. This is a night for all the women who we made this movie for. This is a night for Blake. This is a night for Colleen. I'm just so grateful that we're here.
You're not going to sing if you.
I did.
You can sing,
I sang in this movie.
Well,
you
yeah.
see the movie.
I did see the movie, but I mean.
You see it. It feels like a big, beautiful summer movie, but like we didn't have any budget, so there were.
So I'll start here. Okay. And it's dry shampoo, but really, it smells amazing, but it also gives you like a nice smell. So I like to do a little bit more at the back, like a little bit of the right now. We help each other. We work together so much. So the iconic rooftop scene in this movie, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that, but you now.
Understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you. What's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Someone, roll the footage. But here's the real kicker. Isabella had to stick by Blake, and we now know why. Blake made it clear that Isabella only landed the role because Taylor Swift pulled strings for her. Except, plot twist, that wasn't entirely true. So, was Isabella just playing along out of fear? Or did she get caught up in something bigger than she realized? So yeah, let's be real. Blake didn't just come for Baldoni alone. She had the entire cast, including Justin himself, wrapped around her little finger. They played by her rules, and they obeyed without question. It wasn't just about accusations. It was about control. And whether it was intentional or not, Taylor Swift's influence definitely played a role in this dynamic. Meanwhile, Isabella Ferrer? Completely silent ever since Baldoni started dropping receipts. And at this point, it's obvious. Brandon Sklenar and the rest didn't just back Blake because they believed her. They backed her because it was the safe thing to do. Let's be honest, nobody in Hollywood wants to be labeled as someone who doesn't support a woman in these situations. The backlash from that alone can destroy a career. But now that people are realizing this isn't as black and white as it seemed, Brandon is not about to go down with this sinking ship. And another issue has been loudly resurfacing, just how much influence Blake had over the cast. It's becoming very clear that she had way more pull than Justin ever could in this industry. If anything, Justin knew his own career was on the line if he didn't play nice with Blake. And that right there, that is exactly why we ended up with Ryan Reynolds' version of the infamous rooftop scene in the first place. Because let's be real, going against Blake didn't just mean going against Blake. It meant going against Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. And there is a reason Blake made sure to involve them in the equation. We're talking about two of the most powerful names in the industry. People who can shift or shut down careers with a single move. Like, if Ryan Reynolds decides he's done with you, that's it. You're finished. So when people say, oh, the cast is just waiting to see how this plays out, what they really mean is, they're playing it carefully. They're making sure they'll still be in the industry's good books once the dust settles. And honestly, can you even blame them?
Am I getting beard on you today?
It says, am I getting beard on you?
It smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Right. And then says, smells good. And she says, it's my body makeup. That's her big harassment moment. They are playfully acting for the camera, trying to make it look like two lovers, two people in a relationship are dancing with one another. She's giggling, she's holding his hands. They are not speaking as their characters because the sound was not going to be used in the film, but they are in character in the way, obviously Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are not choosing to hold hands and nuzzle each other and act and behave as lovers in front of this room full of people. They're doing that because they are in character and they are trying to make it look for the camera like they love each other. She's completely flirtatious with him. He is flirtatious back, but they're talking about their spouses and it's all in good fun. She laughs.
The second you go against the machine, you better have an army behind you because Hollywood doesn't do loyalty. One wrong move and you're done. Just look at Diddy. 1 minute, untouchable. The next, his whole empire is crumbling. And Blake Lively? Oh, her world is falling apart right now. Brandon Sklenar's latest response proves one thing. She doesn't have the backing she thought she did. Her support system? Cracking by the day. First, Colleen Hoover dipped fast, and now Brandon and Isabella are distancing themselves, realizing that they might have backed the wrong side. And let's be real, Hollywood is a game of alliances, and Blake's are disappearing. And trust me, this is only the beginning of the fallout. Because guess what? Now even Blake Lively's own publicist, Leslie Sloan, wants out of this lawsuit. Yup, Leslie has officially made a formal request to completely remove herself from the case. But let's be real, it's way too late for that. She's already knee-deep in the mess, and now she's realizing this isn't going to end well for her. For those who missed it, let's break it down. How did Leslie Sloan get so caught up in this? Well, according to Baldoni's legal team, Leslie was the mastermind behind the scenes, pulling the strings the entire time. She wasn't just Blake's publicist, she was Hollywood's ultimate fixer, cleaning up elite messes, erasing bad PR, and protecting the biggest names in the industry. And when it came to Baldoni, oh, she played her role perfectly. That's exactly why Blake turned to her when she wanted to take Baldoni down. But at what cost? Because now Leslie's name is getting dragged through the mud and these new receipts? Not helping her case one bit. Sources close to the situation have revealed that Sloan allegedly orchestrated a full cover-up, all to protect Blake from the consequences of her own actions. The lengths she went to? Insane. Reports claim she worked behind the scenes to silence whistleblowers, manipulate narratives, and even discredit Justin Baldoni. And the proof? Leaked emails and messages that show a clear attempt to frame Baldoni while making sure Blake's reputation stayed pristine. This is way bigger than just one lawsuit, because if these allegations hold up, Leslie Sloan might be Hollywood's next scandal. Leslie Sloan had no problem throwing anyone under the bus if it meant keeping her client's image spotless. According to an anonymous insider, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she did it without hesitation. And the proof? It's all coming out now. Turns out, this wasn't just some random bad press that hit Justin Baldoni. This was a calculated attack, planned long before the New York Times ever dropped that disturbing article about him. And guess who was allegedly behind it? Leslie Sloan. This woman isn't just a publicist. She's powerful, connected, and ruthless. She's been making big moves behind the scenes, pulling strings, protecting Hollywood elites, and ensuring that her clients come out clean. But suddenly, now that things aren't looking so good, she wants her name wiped out from Baldoni's case.
She laughs and says, oh, did you get beard on me? She doesn't say, oh my God, you nuzzled me and said that I smell good. This is what she's done throughout. She said, he came in my trailer while I was breastfeeding. Well, then he produced the text messages showing her saying, I'm breastfeeding, come on over. She, time and time again, she accuses him of doing something, which then when you hear the full context is an absolute nothing burger. She accused his producing partner of showing her pornography. Then they produced in his lawsuit against her a picture of the alleged pornography. And it was a beautiful, artistic, absolutely non-pornographic shot of his business partner and his wife with their newborn baby in a bathtub after a bathtub birth, an at-home birth, holding one another. You can't see any body parts. You can just see that two people clearly are in a bathtub holding their baby. Just here's yet another one. She wants us to believe this is actionable harassment, what we just witnessed there. You tell me whether that's what that looks like to you. Well, so now I said that they had written to the Human Rights Office in California. Let me correct that. It's to the United States District Court in the Southern District of New York, where she filed her lawsuit against him. There's cross lawsuits by each, saying this is all retaliatory. All of his leaks to the media are retaliatory, and asking the court to shut him and Brian Friedman up, saying this must be shut down because they're trying to try this case in the media. The only reason this whole thing got started before she filed the lawsuit, she just went to the California Human Rights Office, is because she clearly cooperated with the New York Times to leak the whole thing. Indeed, that's, Brian argues, the reason she went and filed the complaint with.
Funny how that works. But unlike Sklenar, Sloan doesn't get to just walk away. She's in this lawsuit, whether she likes it or not. And not only is she being forced to testify, but she's about to burn through all the money Blake paid her just to cover her own legal fees. And here's the real kicker. Sloan is actually trying to make Justin Baldoni pay for her legal fees. Yes, you heard that right. After allegedly setting him up, she's now demanding he foot the bill for the mess she helped create. But the truth? It's becoming undeniable. Justin was set up. And the real masterminds, Leslie Sloan and Blake Lively. Despite the false accusations, the smear campaigns, and the brutal attacks on his entire character, Baldoni stood firm. He refused to be just another victim of Hollywood's power games. And now, the tides are turning. You can see it happening. Cast members are jumping ship. The industry is rethinking its stance. And people who once backed Blake blindly are now realizing they were played. And let's be real, the public hates feeling fooled. And speaking of scrambling, guess who's in full panic mode? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Their legal team is desperately trying to get Justin's $400 million defamation lawsuit thrown out before things spiral even further. They've already filed a motion to dismiss, hoping they can shut this down before it turns into something even worse. But let's be real. This move? It reeks of desperation. At this point, there's no escaping it. The truth is coming out. and no PR spin is going to stop what's already in motion. Blake still doesn't seem to grasp just how serious this situation is. She was out here acting like she could pick and choose who got to question her, like this was some Hollywood interview and not a legal case. She even went so far as to suggest that she might refuse to sit for a deposition if Justin's attorney, Brian Friedman, was involved. But newsflash, that's not how this works. Legal experts are already clowning her for even attempting this nonsense, making it crystal clear that no judge is going to let her pull a stunt like that. And let's be real, Blake and Ryan's entire defense is looking shakier by the day. More and more people are publicly standing with Justin, especially now that stories are surfacing about his genuine kindness. Like how he let someone stay at his home after they lost everything in the LA fires. That's the kind of man we're talking about. Meanwhile, in Blake's camp, oh, it's pure damage control. Everyone's scrambling, trying to protect their own reputations, distancing themselves as far from her as possible. But let's be honest, the damage? Already done. And if this case moves forward the way it's expected to? Oh, they're in for a rude awakening. So now I need to hear from you. Are people finally waking up to Blake's manipulation? Or is there more to the story? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I need to know where y'all stand on this. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and keep it locked right here, because I'll be covering every twist, every turn, and every shocking update as this drama keeps unfolding. Trust me, this isn't slowing down anytime soon. Stay tuned, because it's only getting messier from here.